Okay, hello, good morning, welcome back with me, Feri, Krisyanti, Turnip, and this time I will explain one of the economic material that is about demand and supply. So let's look the explanation that I will convey. For the first is about demand. Demand comes from the behavior of buyers. The quantity demanded of any good is amount of the good that buyers are willing and able to purchase. And then, law of the demand, the claim that the quantity demanded of a good falls when the price of the good rises. As an example can be seen in the table of demanded for latte, which show the relationship between price and demand for latte. When the price is $0, the demand for latte is 16. But when the price starts to increase, the quantity of demanded for latte will be decreases. And then several factors that influence the shift in the demand curve are buyers' income, price of related goods, taste, and expectation. And then I'll explain one by one several factors that influence the shift of demanded. For number one is buyers. And increases the number of buyers causes an increases in quantity demanded to each price, which shifts the demand curve to right. Suppose the number of buyers increases, then at each price, the quantity demanded will increase by 5 in this example. Number 2 is income as factor demand curve shifters. Demand for a normal good is positively related to income. An increase in income causes increase in quantity demanded at each price, shifting the dick curve to the right. But demand for an inferior good is negatively related to income. An increase in income shifts the curve for inferior goods is the left. And then number 3 is price of related goods as a factor demand curve shifters. Okay, for the first, two goods are substitutes if an increase in the price of one causes an increase in demand for the other. For example, pizza and hamburger. An increase in the price of pizza increases demand for hamburgers, shifting hamburgers' demand curve to the right. For another example, Coke and Pepsi. Laptops and desktop computers, compact discs, and music download. And second, two goods are complements if an increase in the price of one causes a fall in demand for the other. For example, is computer and software. If price of computer is rises, people buy fewer computers and therefore less software. So, software demand curve will be shifted to the left. Number 4 is taste as a factor demand curve shifters. Anything that causes a shift in taste toward a good will increase demand for that good, and its the curve will shift to the right. For example, the Atkins diet became popular in the 90s, caused an increase in demand for eggs, shift the eggs demand curve to the right. And then number 5 is expectation as a factor demand curve shifters. Expectation affect customary buying decision. For example, if people expect their incomes to rise, their demand for meals at expensive restaurants may increase now. So, that is my explanation about demand, and next I will explain about supply. Okay, so supply comes from the behavior of sellers. The quantity supplied of any good is the amount that sellers are willing and able to sell. And then the law of supply say that the claim that the quantity supplied of a good rises when the price of the good rises, other things equal. Next, we can see the table of supply for latte. A table that shows the relationship between the price of a good and the quantity supplied. For example, Starbucks supplied of latte. When price of latte at $0, the quantity of latte supplied is 0. But when the price of latte will increase, the quantity of latte supply will do the same thing. For the next, I will explain about the factors that cause a shift in the supply curve. Number 1 is input price, 2 technology, 3 seller, and 4 expectation. And then I will explain one by one about the factor that causes a shift in the supply curve. Number 1 is input price. Example for input price is wages, price of raw materials. A fall in input price market production more profitable at each output price. So, firm supply a large quantity at each price and the S-curve shift to the right. Suppose the price of milk falls. At each price, the quantity of water supplied will increase by 5 in this example. And then number 2 is technology as a factor supply curve shifters. Technology determines how much input are required to produce a unit of output. A cost-saving technological improvement has same effect as a fall in input prices. The S-curve will shift to the right. And number 3 is off-seller as a factor supply curve shifters. And increases in the number of sellers increases the quantity supplied at each price. Number 4 is expectation as a factor supply curve shifters. Suppose a firm expects the price of the good it sells to rise in the future. The firm may reduce supply now to save some of its inventory to sell later at the higher price. This is what shift the S-curve leftward.